I'm Danielle from Cageless Reading. So welcome to the channel, or welcome to the pick a card today. I do want to just put a little disclaimer or disclosure here about what I was picking up this reading was mainly going to be focused on, and that was eating disorders. And I was hesitant to do this, but I feel like I heard someone asking me for it for the last 2 weeks, 3 weeks. And every time I kind of was like, this isn't really like something I have personal experience with, so I don't really feel comfortable doing a pick a card reading on something that I personally, like I said, had no experience with myself personally. So that being said, this topic that I'm referring to is specifically, I think there's going to be some messages around bulimia and anorexia. And I don't think that will be in all the card readings, but I just kept hearing, like I said, it's almost like someone's voice asking me to do this, and I almost felt like it was a parent's voice, really wanting to understand their child and why they are doing this and how they can best support them. So yeah, maybe I'm just even meant to say this at the start because maybe you're that person and you don't normally watch these readings, but now you're gonna watch it or something like that. But yeah, so I am gonna keep it open to other things coming through. The topic or the question we're asking is, how can you support yourself or a loved one with their body image? And I do think there'll be some perspectives of people who are in it, and there'll be some perspectives for loved ones who need to have someone explain it to them because they don't understand or they're not understanding what's happening for their loved one. So that being said, before I even started this card reading, I did call in specifically the angels for this reading because I felt like that energy would be the most appropriate to have, like very loving, gentle, supportive energies around this. And I just asked them to support anyone who chooses to watch this pick a card reading with sort of an ear chakra clearing, a little bit of a heart clearing, and a little bit of a third eye clearing so that you could best hear these messages, and also just to help support anyone watching this because I just feel like the energy here could be a little bit heavy, or there's just so much worry, and I feel like this is going to be a reading where people have struggled with this for years. I don't think this is something that's just coming on, but like I said, haven't done the card readings. I haven't even pulled any cards yet. I just really wanted to leave it open, but that energy was so strong that I felt like I had to do it. So let's see, I'm gonna give you a couple options here. So you can choose based off the decks you're looking at here. So I don't know if I remember the exact names. So basically, there's a lot of fairy energy, and that just sort of happened. This is Mermaids card deck that you can choose for pile 1. This is Healing with the Angels for pile 2. Pile 3 is, I believe this is the Magical Messages from the Fairies. This is Archangel Raphael's deck, unicorn deck, pretty obvious. And this one is a different fairy deck that I can't remember the name of, but it's also by the same author. And then if you don't like choosing that way, I did also pull some crystal cards to help choose. So I will let you choose from this way or from the second way. So you might want to pause it now if you want to choose based off the decks. And then if not, pile 1, we have the Zoisite with Ruby. Pile 2, we have Amber. Pile 3 is a Tubular Quartz. So it's funny because I actually have one kind of a tubular quartz here. It's definitely, it has way more going on in there. It's like a smoky something quartz, but funny that that card came out when I chose that. We have Rhodochrosite. Oh, sorry. I was like, something is wrong here. There we go. I put that on the wrong pile. Sorry, we have Rhodochrosite for pile 4. And we have Selenite for pile 5. And then red Jasper for pile 6. So I just really want to make sure everyone gets their intentions clear and that you're making sure that you're dropping your focus or your energy down into your heart So for some of you, it might help if you put your hand on your chest or both hands on your chest and you just focus your energy dropping down there. That will help you open up your heart energy to be open to basically the highest messages for you here, the ones that are most aligned with you. And if you come from a heart-centered place, you'll most likely choose a message that is in your highest good of yourself and your loved one you're inquiring about, and it won't be coming from the mind, who might come from more of a place of fear. So that's why we want to drop into the heart energy. You can also take a few deep breaths, and then you ask yourself, which pile has a message for me about my loved one or about myself? So I will give you time now to do that, and I will see you all in your card readings. Okay, hello pile one. So you chose the mermaid deck, or you chose it by the Zoisite with ruby. I'm just gonna pull some cards now, and then I'll get into your card reading. Okay, pile one. So it's kind of interesting. I pulled the dragonfly card for the loved one you're inquiring about, and then I felt like this rabbit card was for the person inquiring, so I believe it would be you. If you are inquiring for yourself, then I almost wonder if these will be two different polarities within yourself, sort of battling it out, because they're kind of similar energies, but I feel like the bigger energy coming through for the general pile is that these are two separate individuals who are more in one energy and that person's more in the other. So the left one you're inquiring about, it's very interesting because the dragonfly talks a lot about being stuck in the mind, and the illusions our minds can create. So there's a lot here about hidden things, like you have to take a deeper look, and even for the person themselves, they have to take a deeper look at what's going on within them. It's almost like, how would I put it? I see this person justifying, say, behaviors or actions with a logical reasoning, but honestly, that's not even the real reason why they're doing it. I would almost see it, if they could go a little bit deeper, they would see why they are doing this behavior, why they're doing these actions, and it would be more from a wounding or a programming or like a trauma belief system. I want to be careful with my words because I feel like this could be a parent inquiring about this one. It doesn't mean you traumatized your child. It just means that it feels like a lesson that they subconsciously learned. Like they observed a situation and no one said anything, but they took that situation as meaning a certain thing. So I don't know, I'm like trying to tune in a little bit deeper, but we'll see what came up for the other cards. I think this has something to do about being accepted and loved a certain way. Let's see here. What did the Zoisite with ruby said? Do you joyously give but are unable to receive? It's time to receive with grace. It's safe to allow others to do nice things for you and shower you with gifts. Permit blessings and love to pour into your open, receptive heart. So this tells me here that there's a little bit of a block on them feeling deserving of receiving love, is what I'm getting here. Angel of receiving. Yeah, I'm willing to receive love. The door to my heart is open, allowing blessings to flow into my life. So I think this is kind of what a bit of a root thing going on is this belief. Like I said, I just see that this was something they observed in a scenario and then they took it as such a deep truth, like a rule about how you are accepted or loved specifically, and they feel unlovable. So it's almost like their actions are trying to correct the fact that they don't think they're lovable or they can't be loved if they're not this. But it's funny because they can see that although they're taking these actions, it's not getting to the root of the problem. So it's not solving that need that they have to be loved. So that's why I feel like this card is saying like they're still not receiving it, because if they're fixing it with a physical thing, like if they're just like, if I look a certain way I will get loved, they're not, it's like it's not working. It's like does that make sense? It's not working. So it's like they're still not feeling lovable. They have to do an emotional adjustment and changing that program versus this physical change, which they want an emotional thing, but they're trying to do a physical change to get an emotional thing. yeah, it's not really working. Whereas this rabbit card is really interesting because I think this is a parent. So I think this could be you, whoever chose this pile, looking in. And I feel like the rabbit here has a lot of worry, and they always can find themselves kind of thinking worst case scenario. So I almost feel like, how would I put it? We'll have to look deeper into it, but I almost feel like there's this rabbit's more in a fear response. And so it's almost like the dragonfly can't really hear what the rabbit has to say because the rabbit's coming at it with a lot of fear. And when we come at it with a lot of fear, a lot of times our communication isn't as good as it could be. I'm not saying this is the case for everyone here, but I almost get that the dragonfly doesn't want to talk about it because they feel the fear and the pressure to want things to just be fixed. But it's kind of funny because I don't think they don't feel loved, so it's like they don't know how to fix that. Like it's definitely like a belief issue. So I feel like the rabbit's fear would almost put the dragonfly person off. It's almost, I don't know. We'll get deeper. I feel like there'll be a deeper explanation about why there's like a disconnect. Like the dragonfly almost would try to avoid the rabbit, but I think the rabbit is always trying to chase down the dragonfly, which just creates this weirder energy between the two because the dragonfly doesn't see it as love, although the rabbit is trying to love them and fix and support. But I think that's the problem. I think the dragonfly needs support, not a solution, is kind of that how that thing goes. It's so frustrating to hear that, but I just feel like because this is an emotional thing, it's an emotional problem creating a physical issue, you could say, the emotional thing has to be addressed. So let's look at what the dragonfly person is struggling with. So what it's struggling with is body wisdom. So this is literally listening to what their body needs and intuitively trusting it. So how I see this is like honoring their body and what it wants. There's a big block there. And then the other thing they're struggling with right now is attachment to results. So it's really interesting. When I say attachment to results, I see it a little bit as having an issue with not being able to control how the end result turns out. So it's a little bit of, I feel like control usually comes with fear. So if there is like a lot of fear in someone of not getting their needs met, or a lot of fear of, I almost feel like their own judgment, but judgment of others, then I feel like attachment to results makes so much sense. Because I feel like if this is specifically around food and how they choose to eat food, or what foods they're not eating or are eating, I think here the big thing is talking about this control. Like they need to listen to their body and what it actually wants from them. And this here is like not trying to control what their body looks like based off the food they eat. So I feel like this is such a body thing, such a physical thing. And then here it's interesting, says they're struggling with the fear of intimacy, which I think comes back to what it was saying over here with this crystal, is a fear of being loved. It's like there's a vulnerability that they're scared of. So I think if you know this loved one, or if this is yourself, you'd really have to ask, why is that fear there? Like, what happened that they got scared to be vulnerable? Like, this comes from like a wounding, a really deep wounding from maybe, I think if this is a younger person, it could have been a boyfriend, honestly, or a girlfriend who just had so many physical, I don't know what the right word is. Like, they had their own emotional challenges with the physical body and what it should look like, and I almost feel like they might have left this person, and it feels so like it was very much their own problem, but then that might have created this weird belief system or programming to cement in this dragonfly person. I hope I'm explaining this clearly. I almost feel like, so say dragonfly person is dating someone and that person has really strong pressures from their parents about what the ideal person should look like, and then felt like the dragonfly person wasn't, say, like, I'm gonna say stereotypes here, like blonde and blue-eyed, and say they weren't like a negative size, like 000 or something crazy, then I feel like that person would have broken up with the dragonfly only because I think it's like a parental pressure or peer pressure from them. So it's like they loved the dragonfly person or cared about the dragonfly person, but we're so ashamed of not choosing or the right person by someone else's standards, their friends' perception, that they might have left them. You know what's another interesting thing is I almost feel like there could have been an ethnicity problem. If this is resonating, sorry, they got really specific all of a sudden. If this dragonfly person was dumped by another person, I almost feel like there was a cultural thing that the dragonfly person didn't fit in. That was the norm of the other person. And it kind of like devastated the dragonfly person. Basically, because you can't change your ethnicity. You can change like maybe some of the cultural things you do, but you can't change your skin, who you were born to. So I think there's something there for someone in this collective. There's a few different energies, as you can see. In some cases I see like young adults, where was a cultural thing, and then for other people I see kind of like a young love, like a young teenage love, where one broke it off with the other and like devastated them. But I do feel like this person is still quite young. For whichever scenario, it feels like overall the dragonfly person is in their teenage years or in their young adulthood. So 25 and younger, maybe someone's 26, sorry. Someone here might be 26. They always have to correct me. Okay, so I'm trying to see if there's any advice here about understanding what's going on. The fear of intimacy says you are ready to let love in, compassionately identify, and begin to release any patterns that stop you from opening your heart. So that is a big thing that I'm trying to express here, whether I'm doing it clearly or not, is about really the best thing the dragonfly can do at this moment in time is to, I hate to say meditation, but almost go into a state like that, a place where you're just quiet. That's all that means, is going to a place where you're quiet, alone, you feel safe, so that you can go in and just ask your body, like, why am I scared of intimacy? Why am I having a hard time being vulnerable? Or why am I having a hard time letting love in? And it feels like it would have been something in the root chakra or the heart chakra. So you could put your hands on your heart, or you could put your hands closer to, how would I describe that? Kind of just below your belly, and just ask yourself, like, what do I need to know? Why am I having a hard time with feeling loved or allowing people to love me? And just asking and seeing if you get an answer. And then if you feel like crying, amazing, cry, like release that. You don't want any stuck energy. If you feel like you get an answer, like if all of a sudden you just start thinking like it's because of, say, this breakup, or say maybe it's because you just don't feel like you're doing good enough, whatever it is, I just feel like it's really important just to ask and hold space for that answer. So when we say meditation, that's really all it is. It's just going to a place where it's quiet, you feel safe, and you can ask yourself what's going on. And it really is a body thing. It is like, it's really being clear that you need to ask your body and not your mind. Because the mind has all these, it keeps telling me it has all its reasoning, and it's like, well, this is why, but it's actually, there's something deeper there. Yeah, so I'll just read this one. It says, listen to your body's message about person or situation. If you feel physically drained or uncomfortable, be cautious. You are energized and happy. Move forward. Yeah, the formula for success is to do all you can to make things happen. Then let go of the result. Holding on too tightly to a desired outcome can sabotage it. Yeah, attachment to results. I can see how this one would be really, really hard, especially in younger people, because I think this is a very human lesson to learn. It's really, really hard to let go, because we see so many people who feel the need to control the results or control their environment or control what's happening. And it's just, I feel like it's such a normal human fear response. But as it says, sometimes it can sabotage our results. Okay, so let's see what's happening here. So I kind of asked this for general advice. So for the dragon person, it says playtime. The dolphins know the importance of playing, as joy creates miracles and manifestation. healing heart, which is very, very appropriate for what we've been talking about, and just giving yourself space and time to heal. But it's also to accept love. I feel like that's such a big thing. I can just see the biggest block is people do want to love you, but I feel like your heart is a little closed or a little guarded because it was hurt. But I almost feel like you're like the dragonfly person is suffering. Like you're almost being punished for not letting other people love you because people want to love you so deeply and so badly, but they feel like they can't. This says father healing, so your personal power increases as you give any father-related issues to heaven. So this could be actually like a parent healing, but I feel like this also could be talking about just the healing between the person who hurt you. So sorry, I should have said this, but I'm trying to be more open to everyone. When I did see like someone breaking up with someone, I did see specifically a boy. I would say a boy because they looked young, or maybe a young man who would have broken it off to appease their father or their male friends. So if that actually is the case, then I feel like this could just really mean like just like the man healing, like the healing from basically like this boy or young man breaking someone's heart because they wanted to appease their father, and their father was stuck in a belief system. So depending on how it relates, and maybe just use it a little bit to your own wisdom and knowledge here about whether it was a boyfriend or if it really is a father wounding that needs to heal, that might have made them feel unloved. Here it says watch your thoughts. So this is just reminding you, especially with the dragonfly, talking about how you can reason things and why you're doing things and actions by using your mind, but it's not always what your body is wanting from you. So here it's even talking about being kinder to yourself. So I think this would also be trying to redirect thoughts where you feel like, oh, I'm unlovable, or and I know it's not going to come out that directly, right? That's too easy. You don't ever say I'm unlovable in your head, or at least I don't think most people do. It's usually something more coded, like no one likes me, or they always get annoyed by me, or I always say too much, like words like that. Words that kind of hang around I'm not liked, or I'm not lovable, or I'm not accepted. But the root, if we were to look at them, means that you're not lovable. So I'm always annoying people never want to hear what I have to say, anything like that. And then tranquility, making time to relax, be still and enjoy your solitude, indulging in much needed self-care. So this is talking to me about you having that quiet time alone where the dragonfly person can go within and just ask what their body needs. It's so big on asking your body. Your body knows what it needs. I almost even feel like maybe your body's felt a bit ignored. Like maybe you feel like you're fighting it, or like you've had to deal with it. Maybe those are the right words. Yeah, I'm not sure, but it's just remembering that your body's on your side and it wants to essentially help you out. And it just needs you to maybe listen to it and just see what it would need so that it can work its best for you. It's interesting. Sorry, I know sometimes I end up talking in first person for this, and sometimes I talk about them. I feel like I can never really tell if you're watching this for yourself or if you're watching it for someone else. So I want to just see what's going on with the rabbit person here, what they're struggling with in this dynamic. Surrender to complete healing. So this is kind of the rabbit I was saying, is someone who can sometimes think about worst case scenario all the time and has there's a lot of fear response coming in. It doesn't mean this is their truest form or how they'll always be. It's just meaning in this relationship dynamic, they go into a very fear state, very worried about that person, very concerned, and like I can just see like them spiraling about all the things that could be happening to this person, or I hope that makes sense. It's like they like them so much and they care about them so much that they are kind of, like I keep saying, spiraling is how I can see it. So when this says, complete healing, open fully to the loving, compassionate forces of the universe that support your physical, emotional, and spiritual healing. And then it says, let go of the desire to control people. I wouldn't see this as actually controlling them. I actually see this as more trying to control the situation. Like, because you're so worried about what's going on, it's saying, like, don't worry about having to fix it. Or it's like, I guess it's saying don't worry, but it's like saying you're struggling with just wanting to fix it, always trying to come up with a solution to just make the problem go away, to just not have it be a reality for the dragonfly person anymore. So I know it sounds bad, but it's coming from a loving place, but I can see it just affecting the rabbit's health so much. Like, it's just putting them, and like I said, I see the rabbit person in more of a fear response than I see the dragonfly. The dragonfly person really, really struggles with feeling lovable and accepting love, but I don't feel like they're in a constant state of fear until they are in certain dynamics with people. So then I see like them going to fear response and feeling that they had to guard and armor themselves, where the rabbit is just kind of in a constant fight for, I wouldn't say their life, for this person's life. And it's just, ooh, it feels like it would cause a lot of stress on the rabbit person. I feel like you'd get all of a sudden lots of health issues, like you might not be sleeping at night. I think I would see weird intolerances to foods starting to happen, lots of inflammation in the body. It's really weird to say this, but I feel like as soon as I tune into this rabbit, I keep getting like your physical health is really declining because of your fear for this person. And I'm not saying that you should just stop being fearful. I just want to explain what I'm seeing happening. So I'm sorry. I'm trying to be very careful with my wording, but I have a hard time explaining what I'm seeing and then trying not to say it in a way that maybe people will feel judged. I'm really not trying to judge you. I'm just trying to say what I'm seeing going on here. So I'm going to assume the guides are really going to be focused on finding some advice for you to not compromise your health for your worry and your love for this person, because it feels like it's kind of going down that route. Yeah, so when I see the surrender to complete healing, it means you need to surrender to, I would say, trusting that this person with time is going to heal, is going to get better. But there's also so much going on about the rabbit having its own emotional healing to focus on. Yeah, I almost wonder, so if you're the parent of this dragonfly, I wonder if you have a similar wounding of feeling like it's hard to be vulnerable and loved by others, because I feel like there's definitely a relationship, like a family link to these two, and I think this is more of a mother and a daughter relationship. It doesn't have to be that, but like I said, these are general card readings. These are always like, I just read usually the more dominant energy because it's kind of screaming at me, where it doesn't mean that there isn't another energy going on, but it really feels like parent, child, and a little more like mother, daughter, but it doesn't have to be. Just, yeah, I just feel more like that. So here we go. We have advice cards for the rabbit. We have consult an expert. More information is needed. Contact someone with expertise in this area. And it's really interesting because the dolphin in this really makes me think it's talking about this one over here. So it says playtime. So this is like getting this person to let go and be in a more joyous state. So I feel like it's saying what you can do with them is both find a way to do an activity that just is for fun. There's no other agenda behind it. There's no like trying to fix someone. It's like, how can we just work on a relationship and have fun? But I like that it says consult an expert, because I think it's saying there are resources where you can use to ask what activities can you do that this person will feel at ease with. I think that's the thing. For some reason, the dragonfly feels guarded around the rabbit. And I think it's, like I said, I think it's because of the fear that the rabbit's feeling, and it's very intense. So it's almost like the dragonfly, without consciously realizing it, is feeling that energy coming at them a lot from the rabbit. So I do feel like to do an activity together that's just fun and lighthearted, and like I said, there's no other intention other than just, I want to work on our connection with each other. Because I think these two used to be quite close, but I think due to what's happened, there is like a little bit of, I I don't want to say friction. Like there's just like, it's almost like the rabbit might even have been confused why the dragonfly stepped back, but there's like a little bit of a, what would I say, like a little bit of a block between the two. But I think laughter and fun is just it will be the easiest thing to fix it, to reestablish it, I should say. I shouldn't use the words fix it. Morning affirmations. Stay positive affirmations each morning to open the gates of manifestation. So I can't help but wonder if this is for the rabbit person on, I almost feel like on releasing so much focus on, I think it's your child or the dragonfly person, and not to go down like those wormholes of worst case scenario. I feel like it's saying like the moment you wake up, go on YouTube and click like I am morning affirmations for a wonderful day, and just keep listening to that. Like you almost just need to reprogram your mind not to start off your day stressed and worried. And I have to say, like I know this is a general card reading, so I'm not going to get specifics here, but I feel like your health is seriously not where it used to be because of this stress and worry. And the dragonfly person does not want this for you. It's not serving the actual relationship dynamic. So the best thing you can do is try to work on decreasing that stress and anxiety for yourself. So I really think, yeah, planning activities just for fun, no secret agenda, and the morning affirmations for yourself to make sure that you, all those like I have to explain this because I feel like I see like subconscious thoughts who've started circulating. They're almost playing on repeat in your head. Like, are they okay? What if they do this? Like, they're probably blah, blah, blah. Like, I feel like I can just see like this spiraling that happens. So it's almost like, let's replace that subconscious sort of chaos that's not serving you with positive things. So I really feel like this would be huge in reprogramming the subconscious mind. Divine magic, extra magical energy. Okay, sorry about that. Camera battery died. So I was just saying, extra magical energy surrounds your situation right now. Expect miracles. And I see this just as, to you will feel like a miracle for the dragonfly person and your relationship to get way better, and for the dragonfly person to, I guess it's interesting. I'm not super sure what you are fearful for them of, but I feel like whatever that is, despite the fact that you don't think it could just kind of go away, I think it will. I think it actually will. It's like, believe that anything can happen and that things can happen without you having to do it or you having to figure it out. And I don't know, it's kind of a lesson for both people really, because I think both don't totally know miracles can happen, that blessings can just come out of nowhere, and things that we've worried about for a long time can just go away. But I really also think that really talking about this relationship and it reconnecting, and know that I think the real secret is to kind of do these other advice or guidance cards, I think is going to be what helps create this miracle. So it's like just holding love and joy and wanting to build connection, and not wanting to fix or sort of change this person, which I know might be hard to say. Like if this is like an eating disorder, or if they're doing something that isn't is harmful to themselves, then it can be really hard to just let that go. But I almost feel like they're saying the best way in is to just come at it with love, because this person already feels like they have to armor themselves around others. So if you're trying to fix or change them, then unfortunately that armor will come up. So I think that might just be something to really know what's happening. So it's almost like if you just come with love and wanting to enhance the connection, and you support yourself, you start getting rid of that subconscious circulating stressful thoughts that are going on for the rapid person, by just telling yourself everything's safe, everything's good, everything is working itself out for the best for everyone involved. You know, like, I know that it can sound so corny, but I think that was really going to change this person's health a lot. And maybe your health isn't that bad yet, but I can see a lot of like stress issues that could come through if you keep going on this path of like worry and anxiety, because it feels so all encompassing. I feel like I was saying before with like the subconscious mind is just always thinking those thoughts on like a circuit, that's just really causing a lot of disharmony in the body is maybe the best way to say it. So I wonder if this was enough guidance for this pile, or if you're wanting something else. Also, the other thing I was seeing, and this could be very specific, is I wonder if this person does, the dragonfly person has gotten into, I'm trying to find the best way to say this without it being like triggering to anyone. I don't know how else to say it other than just saying it, is that this person might like cut themselves as like a coping mechanism. I don't know for sure, so if this is something you don't already know, then do not start going down that wormhole. But I just, as I said, although this person, I was saying the rabbit has a hard time not worrying about this person, and they showed me that someone, so this is specific, has a hard time being like, what do you mean, like, just not try to fix it? They're hurting themselves. Like, they meant literally someone is like, some of these dragonfly people might literally be hurting themselves. Not, I don't think, out of fear of doing it to end life, but I think out of a way to feel control, or specifically to control the pain of basically not feeling loved, or feeling rejected. I know this is really weird to say, but it's almost like when I ask the guides, say it's like, I don't know what that means, topical injury. It's not to, yeah, I hate to say, like, it's not to like end life. It feels like it's a topical injury, just enough to basically feel control and accomplish what they're trying to accomplish. So I don't know if that really helps. Either way, it's not great to be doing that, but I don't know why this seems important to mention, I guess essentially, like, they see that it's really hard. It'd be really hard to be the rabbit person and feel okay with that. It'd be really hard to know that or witness it or see signs of it. And I think that's why it even talks about consult an expert. Now that I think about that, I think that's why they're even saying like advice for you on how to approach it, because I think they'll have a lot of information on how a parent can handle the situation so that it doesn't push their child away and push them more into wanting to do it. And instead, I think that's the big thing. I think there's a lot of experts out there who have strategies, and based on how your child is or how this person is, the dragonfly person, they'll have strategic things you can do to help support them so they don't feel like they need that anymore. I hope that makes sense. And I don't know if this is going to be everyone. I think this is a little more specific. Yeah, but I'll just leave it there. Like I said, I felt a little hesitant to do this card reading because I personally have never struggled with this. And I don't have a lot of personal experience with it. So I'm sorry if I didn't word things correctly. I just felt like I was told I had to do it anyways. So I'm doing this card reading anyways. So I just apologize if anything was miscommunicated or wasn't communicated in the gentlest way. I'm trying to do my best here. So I'm just trying to ask if there's any other questions to mention or to clear up. Okay, they said you might want to see the future of this relationship dynamic. So which deck should I use for that? You know what? Let's do these ones. Okay, so the future energy for each person in this relationship in harmony. I would like to see what that would look like for you. I feel like that will bring some hope for this rabbit person. And even the dragonfly person if they're watching this. Okay, so we have fish. That's so funny. I already think learning how to swim. And then we have vulture, which funny enough, it looks looks like a bad card, but this is a very wise card. It's someone who knows, it's all about being able to observe the situation and basically think through your options before reacting. So this is like the opposite energy of the rabbit. And it's funny because I think vultures even eat rabbits. So it's almost like I would see this rabbit person coming out of that like fear state I was saying they're stuck in, like that worry, that great worry for the dragonfly person, and coming into this more wise, more less reaction based and more responsive. And this is huge. This is kind of ideal, especially if you were someone who the dragonfly might be someone who is self-harming. I think this is going to just show you that you will learn how to handle it in a way that honors yourself. You're not going to have these health issues about stressing all the time, but it doesn't mean you're going to stop caring about this person. You're just going to know how to speak their language, essentially, because right now you have all this care and all this concern for them, but you don't know how to communicate it to them in a way they can receive. And I see with this vulture card, it's you being able to step into this higher wisdom on how to I even think how to read the signs and how to know when this dragonfly person might need more support, when they might just need more love, when they might just need getting out of that headspace. But I think a lot of this comes from this consulting and experts. And I feel like this joy stuff, I think you really are going to start doing more just for fun activities, getting them out of their headspace, getting out of their comfort space, but in a good way. So like maybe you go to a dance class, which they might just hate at first, but then find joy in it or something like that. And then the fish person, like I said, it's really funny because I see this as learning how to swim, learning how to I almost feel like getting a tougher skin. That's kind of an interesting thing because I keep thinking of salmon specifically. Maybe it's because salmon here, they turn red when they're going to be fertile. But I just see this as just like they swim upstream and they battle against everything. Everything hits them. Grizzly bears eat them. Like they jump up waterfalls. Like it's a tough life, but they get there anyways. And I feel like this is what the dragonfly person is headed towards, is just learning how to handle challenges as it comes at them. But still being very strong in themselves. Like it doesn't faze them. It doesn't maybe put them in a downward spiral themselves or put them in a hard place. They start doing better. And I also think just with the red in there, it is talking a lot about them being more grounded and rooted in themselves, which might even say they learn how to start listening to their body and respecting and honoring what their body needs. And even with it being shaped in a moon phase, tells me that they learn to kind of confront that shadow and not to run away from it or be fearful of it or to do things to kind of block it out, the emotions out. Instead, they look at the emotion. So it seems like a really powerful change in energy. It seems like basically for both people, they kind of go into an opposite energy, a more powerful energy and a more clear energy. So that's really, really awesome to see coming your way for the future for each one. I'm just trying to see, is there anything else that I should mention or ask about? Once again, for this pile, any unresolved questions or answers? I think just overall, your guides keep saying, know that everything's going to be okay. And it's really hard right now, but I keep getting that everything's going to be okay. Expect miracles. They keep kind of just talking about that. There's a lot of growth and lessons here, which isn't always easy for both parties too. It's very interesting too. They just keep saying there's a lot of old patterns that are going to be broken here. So I think that's for yourself, and I think that's for this dragonfly person. So it's really, really interesting to see what comes of all this. Big lesson though, for sure. Especially with the rabbit, it's like it's all talking about the root and the sacral, so about finding joy and getting out of the fear and the reaction-like responses, being stuck in feeling unsafe. So I feel like for the rabbit person, they've felt like this most of their life. Maybe not as extremely as they are feeling it for the dragonfly person, which will then become the fish person. But I do feel like this is like something that is rooted in the family, like often feeling insecure, unsafe, or having to support people or fix people. I shouldn't say fix, but like there's a pattern here. I can't put my finger on it, but hopefully you'll know what it is. Okay, so I so hope I answered everything for you all, and I just wish you the best of luck, because I can see this is not easy for either party in it. So just, yeah, wishing you the best, and maybe I'll catch you around another video. Hopefully that one will be a little more lighthearted. Hello, pile 2. So you all chose the Amber or the Healing with the Angel cards. So I'm just going to pull some cards and then we'll get into your card reading. Okay, pile 2. So you have 2 cards for the energy you're in right now, which is kind of interesting. So it's Shark and Butterfly. And I should just say the main energy I'm picking up for this pile is that you're inquiring for yourself. So the Amber card over here is talking about, are you allowing someone or something to drain your energy? And then it's kind of crazy that you got the Shark and the Butterfly, because the Shark in this animal deck specifically talks about relationships that might be toxic, relationships that are not supportive, and it kind of just talks about feeling like you're being circled by sharks. Like I said, this is specifically in this animal card deck. And then the Butterfly is all about being with you during times of transition and pointing out things that aren't in alignment with you anymore. So we have 3 cards here talking about needing to change the people you're around, because they're not serving you, they're not supporting you, they're not aligned with you anymore. Any of those words all apply. So why is this coming up for a body image thing? Is I wonder if you're around other people who also have a lot of body image challenges, and they're sort of putting that on you or mirroring that to you, or they're always talking about it, and it's kind of always being mentioned around you. So tuning in a little bit deeper, I think this could be you have some friends who might be, the bigger energy here I'm picking up, there might be very underweight for their sort of body classification. They might be very underweight because they feel like that is what is required to be beautiful or something like that. Like I said, this is just the main energy coming through. So I feel like the first thing they're saying is to get rid of friendships that are kind of focusing on that and are not healthy, I think, for you right now. If you're trying to get away from having a certain body image that you feel you have to obtain, then not surrounding yourself with people who are having struggles with that could be a really good thing. And because it's talking about toxic relationships, I think they're really specifically saying it's not just that they have body problems themselves, it's that they are mirroring that on you. So they're, it's almost like you're both mirroring these insecurities on each other, and then it just creates sort of a bad environment to be. So it's almost like you need to find friends who don't struggle with their body image, who are confident and feel beautiful as they are, people who maybe normally you wouldn't have been friends with because before, I think you used to kind of look for people where you had this in common, where you had this huge priority on the physical look and the way, certain way of having your body or something like that. I'm not totally sure. Like I said, I think this is the energy I'm picking up on. So the Shark card talks about establishing boundaries, and it's funny that the Amber card says establish boundaries. So surround yourself in a protective shield to deflect negative energy. Tap into the ancient wisdom within to transform your life. So lots here about learning to set boundaries with people, if they're going to stay in your life, about what things they can or cannot say to you. So this would be any comments about your body that are not positive, or if they're saying, oh, you would look really good if you just lost like a little bit of weight here, or if you just I don't know what I want to say, like if you bought a corset, it could help you have like a better waistline. I don't even know if anyone wears corsets anymore, but I don't know, I'm just thinking of stuff like that. Yeah, really feel like that will be huge for mental health here, is not being around people who are kind of just adding on to this pressure about how you should look. So I pulled these two cards to ask what you're struggling with or struggling to release. So it says surrender stubbornness and surrender resentment. I don't feel like these mean exactly what they're saying. Let's see. It says if you're tensing up or taking a rigid stance about something, gently observe yourself and become more yielding. This will help you communicate more lovingly with others and yourself. And holding on to resentments only poisons you. Try to forgive others for their shortcomings and keep moving forward towards positive situations in your life. Yeah, I don't want you to get too caught up in these two words, because I feel like the wording I would use is a little bit different. I see it like the stubbornness card is when you feel like you're being verbally under attack or put down, you will go into a flight or fight stance, and you might find that you're just like defending. I think it's talking more about that than actual stubbornness. And same with this like resentment. I think this is the same energy as like feeling like you're being attacked and having to defend yourself. It's more so, sorry, it feels like it's a more complicated thing than it is. It's like they're trying to explain to me what they mean. Your guides here. They're almost showing me I think it's more bitterness. And that's not even quite the right word, because I don't feel like you're just feeling this all the time, but it's almost like feeling like personally kind of like wounded by these people saying these comments to you. So I think if it's about your body, and I think it's from these people, there's almost like this reminder that they are literally projecting on you how they feel about themselves. And it's almost like if you can recognize that, then it won't take you into a space where you feel targeted for these sort of emotional attacks. And like I said here, it's saying boundaries. It doesn't mean to just sit back and take it, but instead of being put into a fight or flight response, it's almost calling on you to be able to step back and say, this is not my stuff, this is their stuff. I'm just going to set a boundary here, because I don't need to defend myself. I just need to tell them this is an appropriate thing to say to me. Something of the sort. Okay, so we have guidance for you. We have celebration, forgiveness, meditation, that came up for the last pile, harmony, divine timing, intention. Wow, it must be getting late in the day. Wow, it's almost 4 here. So our sunsets, I think around 4:30, gets so dark. So that's why the lighting is getting pretty dim. Or I guess it doesn't look too dim in the picture, but it looks really dim to me in this room. Okay, a lot of cards here. So yeah, celebration, intention, harmony, divine timing, meditation, forgiveness. And then there's also a card over here saying have confidence, innocence, and listen. So this is a lot of advice cards for you, but this picture always grabs my attention a lot. To me, it talks so much about changing how you perceive things. And it's always like when I see this, it's like such a powerful change, because it's talking about going into your upbringing and looking at things that people might have told you, or other programs that they had that they essentially just kind of transferred to you, because it's like this relationship over here where they mirrored it. Does that make sense? Like The Have Confidence card is talking so much about changing what you were taught in your childhood about how you should feel or believe you are. And these are all limiting ways. So if it's like, if this body image came from, sorry, I should say this negative view on body image for yourself came from, say, a mother or father, then it's talking about to go in and see that. Go kind of ask, where did this start? How, like, who taught me this? Where did I learn this? What happened? And then see if you can see, and it's not to blame a parent, but it's just to see, like, did your parents have this same limiting belief passed on to them? Did they literally just continue passing it on? Because you're that place where it can stop. Because I feel like if you're watching this card reading, you already recognize that you don't want this. It doesn't feel good. I think I saw that with the boundary cards and you trying to transform how you see things and the people you allow around you, is you don't want to feel like you're not in love with your body or that your body isn't good enough the way it is. Like, I feel like you're just so done with that. And even looking at these cards here, like, I see like this person in tension. It's like, once again, it's like you're putting yourself in this beautiful energy shield so that other people's junk doesn't like stick to you, doesn't become your stuff. And this isn't talking about shutting yourself off or armoring up your heart and not letting people in. It just is literally talking about when you're in those environments where someone has a lot of self-judgment and they're sort of mirroring that outwards. You know, you can't really put them at fault for not even realizing that they're doing that, or not even realizing that it's a limiting belief that they have or poor programming that they have. And just understanding that you don't have to take it on, though. Just because they don't know what to do about it doesn't mean you have to take it on. So you put yourself in a little energy shield. It could be a bubble of light, it could be a pillar of light, and you just say, I release all that's not mine and none of it's sticking to me. Like, only love and light comes through. Some sort of intention around that I think is gonna really help. It's like you're gonna set verbal boundaries, but you're also gonna set energetic boundaries. There's two parts to these boundaries. And then the celebration is like, I just see it as you accepting and you just loving all of you. Like, I see the moon is really talking about you're just opening yourself up to all of you and welcoming it in, welcoming all of you. And that just seems like a beautiful energy to be in a body image reading, like just fully accepting yourself. And don't get me wrong, this doesn't just come like that. It does take a little bit of maybe some affirmation, some forgiveness. I think this is self-forgiveness here. And even like just forgiving, I think for this pile, I think it'll be your parents. Yeah, I think that's going to be a hard one because it's, you might see it as like they did this to you. But the tricky thing is that I think they just repeated a program. So I think they honestly still live in this mental world in themselves. They might even live in it stronger than you did, because I feel like it's a generational time thing. Like, they didn't even know or see signs of another way being acceptable or a different body image being acceptable. And I think that really just comes with the era of I just even want to say like when Hollywood had a lot of power and they were all tiny women, they all were a certain way, they dressed a certain way, there wasn't a lot of power. Sorry, I don't know what that was. Like, all of a sudden there's like running around upstairs or something. What am I trying to say? I honestly think of like the 1950s era. I don't know for sure, but I just feel like women and men born in that era, especially women, like, just think about how sexist a lot of movies are back then. And it's like, as a younger person, I watch that and I'm like, this disgusting things they're saying in these movies. Like Indiana Jones, for example. I remember watching that when I was a little kid and being like, oh, it's kind of like a cool movie. And then I rewatched it recently and I was like, this is the most sexist movie ever. The woman, like, she literally says ridiculously just degrading things, like, oh, I can't even like put my hand on it. There was like, every time she spoke, it was something so degrading. And I'm just thinking like, this era was kind of the era that these people were affected by. So it's almost like they were just told this is how you're treated and this is what you have to be okay with. And I think that is why I'm not trying to justify why you should forgive them, but I almost am just trying to explain the perspective about how they really, maybe I think the energy I'm getting from this pile is that your parents still don't know better. They still think it's that era. They just were born in it. They saw a lot of it. They have years of it, and they haven't really like found that light beam, or that light hasn't clicked for them about, whoa, there could be another way. So when I see this, have confidence, I think it's talking so much about deprogramming what I think your parents and other women and men in your life, and maybe even Hollywood or your cultural background, taught you about what you should or shouldn't have been, and seeing it differently. And even like, you feel like cleansing yourself of it. So moving forward does not necessarily require you to have confidence in yourself. Confidence in God or the universe is enough, along with knowing that God works through you and with you in all ways. Lean upon us if your confidence wavers, and we will buoy your courage and faith. Sorry, it's like buoyo. I don't know. I know what that word means. It's like float you down or float you up, or kind of like having a life jacket. They'll help you out. Did I put it? Yeah, okay. Innocence. This to me really talks about this being something that was sort of put in you as a child, like learned from your parents, because I see that you were innocent. You had no idea. And I almost feel like it just took enough time to feel shamed or not loved or not good enough or not beautiful. I even think maybe you just were never even told you were beautiful, or that your body was fine just the way it was, like it was amazing just the way it was. Just like things like that. Like, so I feel like they're just saying like you, I feel like you just even need to get that acknowledged. I mean, you even think that's why it's coming up. It says, beloved one, everyone is guiltless in truth, as no one can alter God's handiwork of perfection. Give us your feelings of heaviness so we can lighten your load. Give us any guilt, anger, or blame that you may shroud your loving outlook. Enjoy the peace within your heart once more. So it is interesting. This one does talk about forgiveness too. Like, that's a huge theme for this pile, is finding forgiveness to set yourself free. It's not to do it for the benefit of the other people, but it's literally to benefit yourself, to get rid of, I guess that's what it was saying, resentment. I think that's where it's coming from, like feeling so frustrated and angry that you feel this way, and it was directly taken or taught to you by the people that were supposed to take care of you or teach you to love yourself. So some advice on how you can find that forgiveness is where I see the meditation coming in. And even the celebrating yourself, celebrating specifically your body and how wonderful it is and how beautiful it is and all the things you've been able to do in life because of your body. Like, can you, I don't know, I want to say like the sports you've been able to do, or the fact that you can like go on an excursion, or like, I don't know, there's something there. I feel like there's so much your body has been able to allow you to do. Just walking in general, running, being in good health, despite maybe how other people might have said your body was. You feel like it's actually gotten you through a lot of things. And then the meditation is, I think, even to honor your body, to like go within and just ask what it would like you to know, what it needs from you, how you can support it. I even see this meditation card as the girl's like hugging herself, like just hugging her body and being like, I love you. Thank you so much for everything you've done for me, for supporting me and carrying through my day and allowing me to go place to place and walk everywhere despite the fact that I haven't ever said thank you. Or it might seem strange to thank your body for something that you think it should just do, but I feel like that's what it really could use, is some gratitude for all that it does for you, for all the places it's taken you, all the activities you're capable of, the work you're able to do because of it. Yeah, the places you can see because of it. That's a big one. The places you can see because of your body can get you there. And then this divine timing and harmony. I really see a few things going on. I actually see expressive dance being a great way, like just listening to a song and just seeing what your body wants to do and the movement it wants to have. That could be a great release work for you, but also a great way to really connect in with your body. I mean, when you're dancing, you're moving all parts of yourself. You become more aware of like, what are your hips doing? What are your hands and arms doing? What are your shoulders doing? So I think that's actually like a good connection and a good grounding exercise to do is to dance. And the divine timing is just telling me that this is all going to come through in the end. Like, it's going to take a little bit of time, but don't get frustrated on how long it's taking to find that love or to find that gratitude for your body and that appreciation for your body, because I think it's just saying it will happen when you're ready, once you've released everything that needs to be released, once you've forgiven what you need to forgive, and you're going to get there. I know it can seem a little like annoying and tedious to hear right now, but I really do think it, whenever this card comes up, divine timing, that it will happen. Just know that it will, even if it feels like it's taking a long time. So a really big theme though to remember at the start of all this was that it was talking about setting boundaries with people who have unhealthy body images, who might be projecting and mirroring that on you, and not letting them basically put their limiting beliefs on you. So how would that look? By if they're saying something like, oh, well, you could really lose a few pounds too. Do you want to go on a diet with me? You say, you know what? I'm actually great. I feel great in my body. I don't need that, but that's a very inappropriate thing to say. Like, you could say something like that. Like, you know, that's not a very appropriate thing to say, but I feel great in my body and I love it. Something like that. And then the other way too is to remember to energy shield. So both verbally and energetically, you're setting up boundaries to not take on what belongs to someone else, and you're releasing any limiting beliefs or fears that are not yours. And the other thing I really like too about the butterfly is I think everyone can believe that a butterfly is quite beautiful. And the fact that it talks about transforming the energy you're in into a butterfly is amazing. To just even say like transforming how you see yourself, transforming the beauty that is within and letting it shine through you, and just transitioning on so many levels, right? So many levels. This butterfly is so shiny and bright, and like it's so alive. It has such great energy to it. Where the shark card over here, it's very gray, and even the image itself has been dotted out, so it's fuzzy. It doesn't have a lot of energy to it. So it's just like opposites here. Even in, the fact that it's water and then air. So I just find it really, really cool. Really cool to have these two cards that go from one energy to the next. You know what? Let's read the confirmations or affirmations, I should say, they have on the back of these crystal cards. See if they resonate with you. So here it says, sorry, this is where I was saying it's actually quite dark in this room. You're starting to be able to see it. Here it says, Angel of Boundaries. I have the courage to set boundaries with love and grace. I'm protected from negative energy. I am connected with powerful ancient wisdom that keeps me safe and provides me with the know-how to make positive changes. So that's confirmations for this card, Amber. Man, I just can't stop looking at these two cards. They feel so great. The energy shielding, releasing all that is not yours, and this like accepting and rejoicing and celebrating your body. Oh, it feels like everything. I even see this as being kind of a cocoon, which then transforms you into a butterfly. So there's really interesting. There's so much about turning into a butterfly or seeing yourself become a beautiful butterfly. Yeah, and I just feel like there's such an energy of like how you feel on the inside reflects outwardly. That is like a huge message for this pile around your self-image and your body image, is that if you feel amazing and you love yourself, then that is what's projected into the world, and that's what people will see. It's just this beautiful, loving, confident person. Okay, I think this might be all the messages I had for this pile. I hope that brought some clarity for you, or some confirmations, or maybe it just even helps you feel a little bit seen. Whatever it was you needed, I hope you got a little bit of it. And I just wish you the best. Hello, pile 3. So you all chose the Tubular Quartz, or you chose this Magical Fairy Messages. So I'm just going to pull some cards for you, and then we'll get into your card reading. Okay, pile 3. So I pulled some cards, not cars, for you. So what is a little interesting here is this feels less like specifically a body image change, but just like a change or transition in your overall life. So maybe that even has something to do with you used to be hard on yourself, hard on your physical body, and you're also going to change that. I'm not totally sure yet. We'll see when we get more cards what's going on there, but the tubular quartz talk about being seen and heard clearly for what you mean and intend. And then the bear here is all about starting a journey to transition or change kind of the environment you're in the way that you're living. And then the otter talks about rekindling that childhood wonder and like giddiness and joyful times and playful energy. So just looking at this here, it tells me that you want change and you're actually in the process of creating change in your life to come to a more joyous space. Like it's almost like you're trying to find that playful excitement you had when you were younger and that outlook you had when you were younger about the limitlessness of the world is almost what I would see here. But also having people see and understand who you are, because I don't know what is going on here totally with this energy, but I almost feel like people don't get you at all. That's the energy I'm getting. So they don't understand you at all. Oh, so this says the angel of telepathy. When I speak, people listen and understand what I am expressing. I communicate from my heart to the hearts of others. I easily visualize and send mental pictures of my ideas, visions, opinions, and other matters of importance as I speak. That's interesting. Telepathy has been coming up a lot lately, I think. Just in my own life lately, with realizing with the energy shifting, with the veil getting lighter, whatever you want to call it, the energy getting lighter, it feels like telepathy is becoming easier and easier to connect to. And I mean, we all are telepathic, but I feel like that is one of those things that's been shut down for a while and as humans. So it's really interesting that's coming out here. Yeah, I'm still a little confused about what this has to do with body image, but I guess the other thing I'm seeing here is like a bear. I think of like hibernating and hiding in a cave, and I almost feel like it kind of means like hiding yourself, hiding your body maybe from the world, hiding who you are from the world. And then the otter is like such a social creature, it's all about relationships. In this card deck, I don't think it specifically refers to the otter as relationships, but in most other animal card decks, the otter talks about really close relationships, supportive relationships, long-lasting, aligned relationships. So I just see that in this card, where I see the bear is kind of like a loner. It doesn't really have a great support system. They wander on their own. They are in their caves by themselves unless they have young for most of the time. And then the otter is like the opposite. It's always around its people that it loves. So that's really interesting that that's going on there. So I have some guidance cards. We have Spiritual Teacher, Admit Your True Feelings, Business Venture. That makes sense with the transition, changing what you're doing, changing, I think, everything. New Home. That also does make sense. I feel like there's just like a lot of new coming your way. Walk Away. And we have Ask for What You Want and Sun. So that is interesting that I was talking about how bears are alone except for they're sometimes with their young or with their baby bears. But otherwise they kind of do everything on their own in the world. And then the otter is the opposite. So I really think, I wonder if this is very, like, the bear literally is a good analogy for how you've been. Maybe you've put a lot of focus on, if you have a son, on your son. And you've put so much care into him that you've kind of forgotten about your own self-care and your own needs and your own just growth. just general growth, I would think. Because also the spiritual teacher, I find this really interesting when I see sun. So I almost feel like you could be getting more into the spiritual realm and learning and growing in your knowledge here. Maybe you're even changing your career to a more spiritual or energy healing one, or some kind of hybrid of that. And I wonder if that is going to be a great role model for your son, because as your son is watched over and protected as he explores his world. So you feel like you have kind of a sensitive child, whether it really is a son or it is a daughter. So I almost feel like I should put some of this in a slightly different order. So if I were to word what I think the order is of what's going on, it's interesting. I almost feel like during this transition from like the bear to the otter, there's like this path you're on, and I almost see it's like asking what you want and not being afraid to put it out there, and not to belittle the things that you want or underestimate the things you can have. And then I see, I kind of see like you stepping more into this energy work or learning energy work. So it could be acupuncture, it could be sound, it could be Reiki, it could be card readings, it could be just chakra learning. I don't know, something around that. Meridians, learning with the meridians. I don't know if I can think of anything else. Reading eyes, reading feet, reading hands, tea leaf reading. There's something like that here. Shamanic work. Starting to learn that, starting to like get interested and invested in it. Maybe reading some books, maybe it's the Akashic Records. And then I feel like in that process of learning, there's also going to be some healing going on, where it talks about it's where it says admit your true feelings to yourself, be honest with yourself, only you know what it is that you truly desire. And that kind of goes like the next stage of asking what you want, but then also being honest about what's going on. What do you feel like is holding you back? What do you feel like is making you feel like you can't have the future that you want for yourself? What's going on emotionally? What programs are running around in the background that are keeping you in this more, like I would say, this bear energy, this more, it's funny, I don't like saying the word loner, but it kind of is in this loner state, like this, I have to be on my own, outside of the community, outside of support systems. I'm in it by myself, and going into this otter energy of support, aligned relationships, meeting people who just think similarly, who have the same opinions, who just, overall support for you as an adult, as a parent, as just a friend, any kind of relationship, because I feel like you're lacking in supportive relationships where you are right now. And then I see the card next is walk away, leave the unhealthy situation and enjoy the new doors that open as a result. So I almost feel like once you go within and ask, like, what is going on? Why am I stuck in this? Why do I keep feeling like I am an outsider? Why do I keep feeling like I have to do it alone? What is keeping me here? What belief, what programming is going on? Then I feel like once you sort of be able to feel that or express that, then that's going to be what empowers you to step away from it. You're like, I don't want this to be my story anymore. I realize that isn't true, that is just something that I was taught or I learned, and I'm going to walk away from it now. So then I just see that falling into a whole new life for you. Like you might literally move closer to the city, or you might move into a small community where people are more supportive of each other. Like literally new home, new business. And the business venture, I think it's going to be that you are going to look more into this energy work or the spiritual work, whatever kind of alternatives work it is that you're doing. And I don't think you'll be doing it as a full-time job at this point once you transition or move, but it's just something you're going to keep growing your knowledge in, growing your awareness of, reading more books, maybe taking courses, finding other people who are like-minded, and that's just, I see the next chapter. So I know there's going to be a lot more chapters after this, but this is just the one they're showing me. Even like the little boy making a wish on the dandelion, like wishing big. Really neat. Like I said, I'm not super sure how this has to do with specifically body image. I think this is with self-worth in general. So it goes deeper than just body image. It's like what you believe you can have, what you believe you can obtain for yourself, and getting out of old programming and habits that are keeping you feeling isolated, like an outsider. That's a big thing they keep saying, is like you feel like an outsider, or like you don't belong, or you're always been like the odd one out of things, but you don't know that there is your community, there is a group of people who think like you out there. They're just waiting to meet you yet. So what you are, what I said, what these cards are for, what you are trying to release right now so you can move forward. So the main themes are listen to your body wisdom. So that's really powerful. For following your intuition, for knowing what your body needs right now for support, health, nourishment, for areas to go in your future. You could be like, does my body tell me it feels good about moving? Does it feel good about walking away from a situation? Is it telling me, what is it telling me? It says, listen to your body's message about a person or situation. If you feel physically drained or uncomfortable, be cautious. If you are energized and happy, move forward. So I think this is really just saying this is how you're going to be directed to find your people or your community that does align with you, that doesn't make you feel like an outsider, and doesn't make you feel drained or like the wrong group of people. So I feel like if that was the question you asked, well, how will I know when I find the right community? This is listen to your body's wisdom about how you feel around them. Worry, surrendering the worry. So this to me means that you're surrendering, worrying about the possibility of things not working out, worrying about change, worrying about something new. So it says, make a commitment not to lead an anxiety-driven life. When worries arise, breathe them out. Breathing down through your nose and out through your mouth. Just releasing them of your body. Focus the power of your heart and have faith that spirit is guiding you always. So this comes back to grounding yourself. These two are talking about being grounded in the present and trusting yourself that everything will work out for you. There's no reason for bad things to happen to you. That doesn't have to be your story anymore. And that's even what I was talking about with here, is like being honest with yourself, and walking away is like walking away from these old stories that aren't serving you. And look at that, surrender your belief in scarcity. So this is even what I was just saying about talking about the fear that things might not work out for you, that you have to fight for yourself, that you have to do everything alone. And that is kind of what the bear energy was talking about too, is about having to kind of be alone, I want to say wolf, but it's a bear. Be by yourself. You are the only ones who's watching out for your family. There's a lot of predators out there, and it's just like that very like, it's like a fear kind of energy, like fear for your life, fear for just survival, which is really, really hard to be in, and it's exhausting. Absolutely exhausting. And then the last one you have is surrender the fear of change, which, you know what's crazy? I think every time I see this bear card come up, I see this card come out as well. Surrender to change. It's literally the discomfort of the uncertainty of the unknown, but it's often so much better. Like the energy I see you going into is this beautiful otter energy, this playfulness, refinding that childish excitement for things. So it's really, really cool to see that coming in, but also just some validation that it just, when the bear is here, it's like you're so used to a certain way that it can be intimidating to change and go into the unknown. I'm trying to see what else here to talk about. Walk away, leave the unhealthy situation, enjoy the new doors that are open as a result. You feel like it feels a little unhealthy to do everything alone and to be so isolated. But it's funny because I'm willing to bet that you don't live far away from everyone. Actually, maybe some of you do, but I just feel like you feel so isolated where you are right now. And it doesn't feel good. It feels so lonely. It feels super lonely. And then this one here says, your life purpose involves teaching others about healing and spirituality, which I still come back to. I think this is really going to be about your child that you have, or children if you have multiple children. But you could also end up actually teaching other people, like other parents maybe in the future, or other kids. other than your own, because you'll have this practice of teaching your own children. You might go forward and teach other children afterwards. But the main thing I want you to really focus on in this card reading is it's talking about, by taking these steps, that you are going to end up in a whole new place, which can be scary. The unknown can be really scary. But it's like it says here, surrender scarcity, surrender the worry, and surrender fear of change, and just follow your body wisdom. This is going to get you to the right people in the right place you're supposed to be. It really is like, if you're like going crazy in your head right now, like, what about all this? I'm worried about this, and what do I do? And you're getting really frazzled and razzled and stressed out. It's really important to just remember that grounding piece. Breathing in and breathing out. And I can see you having to do this quite a few times at the start to just override that old belief of like fear and panic and like, I'm in this on my own. There's no support systems out there. This will reground you and remind you that is not true anymore. You do have your tribe out there. You do have supportive people who are aligned with you. You are not alone. And just ask your body, where do I need to be? What do I need to do? And I feel like every time you can just close your eyes, drop down your awareness into your center, your heart center, or even more on your sacral part of your body where your intuition is, and just asking, what should I do right now? What is in my highest good to do right now? You will get an answer, but it's just remembering to close your eyes and breathe. Because I can feel the scarcity as I'm talking, the fear and the stress like zooming up in your body and just starting to like become overwhelming. And that's when I just see, listen to the body wisdom is gonna be your go-to answer. If you're like, I don't know what to do, I'm telling you, remember this moment and ask your body. If you're like, everything's going wrong, it doesn't seem like things are lining up, breathe, ask your body, keep breathing. And you have to close your eyes and bring down that energy, that awareness to your heart center. Because if you just go, okay, I'm going to close my eyes, what am I going to do? Your mind's going to start going crazy, and you're going to feel like you're starting to talk like this, and it's going to be really crazy and overwhelming and stressful, and it's going to be worry. It's going to be focused around scarcity on what's going to happen to you, what's the worst case scenario. It's going to be scared about, what if I do this and then I don't like it more? If you start thinking any of that, just please, this is the cue to remember this card reading and to focus on grounding yourself, breathing a few times. If it takes 10 breaths, you do that. It's going to get you clear mind, because this feels like old patterns, overwhelming, stressful anxiety. It's not clear thinking, it's fear-based thinking. So you want to get out of that habit and get more into that grounded body knowledge and intuition. It's so interesting. I just got the block you have is I don't think you've trusted your body. I think you've trusted your body, and this is what you're going to learn, is trusting your body actually gets you where you want to go. It gets you to the place that's the most aligned to you, and this new foundation, this new start that you're so eager to have. Okay, I actually think this is all I have to share with this pile. You've got this. You have all the wisdom within you, within your body, within yourself. You just have to remember to calm that I feel like that inner child, or that stress and anxiety, that worrying part. You need to remember that that is not in charge of you. It's not the ruler of who you are. You need to breathe and comfort it like you would your child and say, okay, I know you're worried right now, but let's just see what can I do for myself right now? And then just go from there. Okay, best of luck. I hope you have a wonderful day, and just, you have so many amazing things coming your way. Hello, pile 4. So you all chose this Rhodochrosite crystal or the Raphael deck. So I'm just going to pull some cards and then get into your card reading. Okay, pile 4. So for this pile, I got very much that this is, I think, the person you're inquiring about, the camel. And then this is a representation of your energy in this relationship, which is the lamb. It's interesting because both these cards have a very beautiful energy to them when they're in balance. But I think right now the reason why they're both coming up is there's a bit of a conflict because they're in disbalance. So the camel talks about this person learning how to rely on themselves, rely on their own independence, and learn how to be responsible for their own reactions. Whereas the lamb, it talks about learning gentleness and patience. So just even looking at those two lessons, it could make sense that the lamb could feel eager to help the camel or speed up the process so that the camel doesn't have to learn the lesson so harshly or in such a long way. But ultimately, it's up to the camel to step into their own independence and their own authority and figure that journey out for themselves. So there is a lesson for both sides, one of patience and gentleness, and how to be supportive versus trying to be a fixer. Where the camel, it is learning not to be reactive, but to be responsive. Very interesting lessons and very powerful, big lessons for both, if we're being honest here. Once one can learn each lesson, like, that can go within any relationship and really be a powerful tool in the future for both. Okay, sorry, so I think the only thing my camera battery died, and I think the only thing you missed was me laying out the cards. So I was just saying this is guidance for the camel person, and I put the lamb card down here because we'll look at the guidance cards that came out for them. But basically it said inner authority, which went really well with the camel energy. All just confirming that the camel is here to learn their own inner authority, their own independence, how to do things themselves. And that's really, really important. How to make their own decisions and how to discern what is right for them or not right for them. It's all just so, so important for them. And then the other thing I was saying is that there's consult nutritionists and avoid allergens. So there's telling me there's something going on food-wise that is affecting them. And this could be that it's actually affecting their health, or it is even just affecting their moods if it's really, really something that doesn't sit well with them. And then otherwise we had divine intervention, unconditional joy, ground yourself, meditation, family, let your past go, and have confidence. So I almost even wonder, it's funny, it doesn't specifically have to be pineapples, but the pineapple's really standing out to me here. And I know a lot of people are allergic to pineapples, so it could even be something like that. And then maybe some kind of herb that they're allergic to. I don't know. I feel like you really have to look into that. As it says, consult a nutritionist. I think it's going to be something that might not be super obvious. It could be something that's in a lot of ingredients that you're not even aware of. But it's definitely, I feel like, giving them a bit of brain fog might even be it. Could also be soy. I keep thinking soy, but yeah, like I said, might be worth looking into. I think if you're someone looking into this camel person, I think you might be a parental figure for this person. So you might have the authority or the ability to kind of organize that for them. The divine intervention, this card comes through when someone has a physical illness or something like that, that basically the angels are working on miraculously healing. So these are usually things where people don't know for sure if they'll heal from them. I've seen this card come up for people who are wondering if their cancer will become reoccurring. If someone is... sorry, I thought my cats were just going to run on this table. And I thought, oh, these candles, not a good thing to have fall over. A little risky today with that. Okay. Yeah, I'm not super sure what it is, but they're just saying know that divine intervention's coming their way. And if you even see this, it's almost like this person in the image is in a coma, but the doctors are, basically the angels are working through the doctors to create this like miracle healing. So it's interesting this card came through, and I'm just going to kind of leave it there because I'm hoping that clarifies something for you. The meditation and the ground yourself, these two go hand in hand. Meditation does center us and ground us in the presence. So they're basically saying the same thing. So this is meaning this is really important for this camel person to find some form of meditational practice. It might look like a daily thing. It might look like just teaching them to calm down and breathe and center themselves when they're getting overwhelmed. You're trying to see, I wonder if the camel struggles with anxiety. I'm not sure exactly what emotion it is that comes up, but I think it could be anxiety. Yeah, not super sure. But I think they're going to grow out of it. So it says, ground yourself. When you detach from awareness of your body in the physical world, you become ungrounded. Although it's pleasant to float heavenward, your attention and work are needed upon the earth. We're helping you balance the spiritual and the material so that you can enjoy fulfilling earthly life. Yeah, so it's a really good way of saying, like, if you say are known for daydreaming all the time, or if people say ADHD or things like that, having a hard time paying attention, it's almost like you're just having a hard time being grounded. It's almost like you'd rather not be in the present moment, so you're detaching and going other worlds. So I almost see this as maybe astral traveling a little too often, to the point where it's affecting your physical life. And the whole purpose about incarnating in a human body is to be here in the physical realm. So there is a balance there, and as this card says, learning to ground yourself and maybe taking up some form of meditational practice, whether it's only 5 minutes a day, 10 minutes a day, or only when you're starting to feel overwhelmed or realizing that you're disengaging, that you pull out this tool of grounding yourself. That would be really great. And I have a suspicion that if you are the parent who is the lamb and you're watching this card reading, that maybe you would even show your child this reading. I'm not sure. I just have the impression that some of you might choose to do that. Almost because I feel like they're saying, like, it might receive it better from someone else other than you. Yeah, but I also want to talk about this cards down here. Sorry. Actually, I should talk about unconditional joy. Definitely infinity for animals, I would say here. It says, thank you for helping me appreciate everything that makes me happy right now. Which is just kind of referring to gratitude and shifting that focus. Like, if you can have a focus on what's going right, on things that make you happy versus, I feel like the camel sometimes can focus on I want to say the gray area. I'm not even totally sure what they mean by that. About the shit going on is almost the word they're saying. So excuse me if you are showing this to your child, but they're saying, like, they can just look at the dirty stuff, the stuff that doesn't make them feel good, and they're saying, oh, just try to focus on something that makes you feel good. So maybe if you do have a pet, if you have a dog or a cat, maybe when you're starting to feel a little bit down or a little sad or a little overwhelmed, you go hang out with that pet because they make you feel so happy and grateful. And I feel like even when you look into their eyes, you feel like that connection of love, which is so important. And that kind of brings us back to this card over here that says, do you realize that you are magnificent? It's a question because it's saying you are magnificent, but do you know that? And it says, believe in your magnificence and embrace your power. Know that you are strong and enough to set boundaries with others and assert yourself in a loving manner. Allow yourself to be who you truly are, a loving and magnificent being. Also goes very well with this camel and this inner authority lesson here. And then the family card, I see this as being really supportive. Whether they realize it all the time or not, they do feel very supported in their family group. And more like themselves in the family unit. I think it's when they're going to the outside world that a lot of this stuff comes up, and feeling like they don't fit in. Let your past go. The burden of carting your past around has made you wary, dear one. It's time to set this burden down. Keep only the lessons and the love and leave everything else behind. You don't want it or need it, and it's now gone. So I actually think this is about a friendship specifically, a friendship that maybe ended, and it's almost like they said you weren't cool enough, or you were weird, or there was something there where they just, like, they didn't see you for who you were, and they didn't recognize your own magnificence. And this relationship ended, but they were really dear to you, and you didn't really understand why they ended it. So I feel like this hurts you. And this is saying, don't let that one person's inability to be themselves affect your ability to be yourself and to fully embrace yourself. Don't let the fact that they felt like they had to fit in and be part of their social norms or their parents' social norms make you change your mind about who you are. And then that follows beautifully into the have confidence, because everything here says that you're just enough as you are, and be confident in who you are, because there's nothing wrong with you. You're wonderful and magnificent just as you are. And don't let some friends who might not have appreciated that make you feel that way because they just weren't aligned with you. They just weren't your people. You know what? Let's read the confirmation and then we're going to move on to the lamb person. So it says, Angel of Inner Strength. It is safe for me to be powerful in loving ways. I am magnificent in every way. I have the strength to do anything I set out to do with loving intention. I am grateful for the courage to be all I can be. Yeah. So this really isn't a body image. This is a confidence in who you are reading. Like, just in case that needs to be clarified. I definitely get that it's just needing to find confidence in being wonderfully and unforgivably you for the camel person. And then for the lamb person, where the lesson was to be patient and gentle. And I feel like that's patience with the camel person, because like I said, I get the majority energy that this will be your child. Yeah, or a young person in your life. So advice for you. It says, stay positive. Dear Archangel Raphael, thank you for helping me be optimistic and take the appropriate action steps that support my health. You know what? It says my health. I think it will be supporting your health, but it will also just be healthy for the relationship. Staying positive and not worrying, basically. Not getting into that fretting or kind of more lower vibrational energy thinking, just staying happy and light and know that everything's going to work out and everything has happened for a reason. Laughter is the best medicine. So I even see this as not getting too serious about it or making it into a big problem, and just trusting that everything once again will get resorted. And just remember that the whole purpose here is to have joy and experience things and love, laugh, live. I feel like that's like a good analogy for this. And then the increased energy. I feel like if anything, this might be a confirmation for you, because all this stuff feels really powerful. Like, I don't know if you can see clearly in the camera, like so much light is coming off each one of these cards. And I just feel like it's saying like the most powerful way to handle this situation or to be a good role model is just to take care of your own energy, stay very high vibe, stay positive, be patient with the process of them accepting themselves, discovering themselves, going through this process. And that will even just help the whole situation. You know what? The other message you keep getting is like, you shine brightest when you are also being your truest self. So if you want to be a good role model and sort of role model what you want your child to learn and embrace, it would be to just be beautifully and unfiltered version of you, just fully you. Because I just even see like the whole brightness, fully being yourself. You'd be so bright. If don't dim your own light, like so much there around that. And I just even feel like I keep thinking of like Jesus, and I keep thinking this person just looks like a role model to me. So there's so much about the power of your modeling of how you perceive what you could and couldn't do for yourself is directly being role modeled to your child. And there is even something powerful going on here with this person releasing the dove to fly, I think. Like allowing the dove to find its own wings. So there's so much here about releasing control and just staying positive, just doing what you can, right? Like being gentle, patient, laughing, seeing the humor in the situation. Yeah, the increased energy, I think, is really just talking about your energy. It says, thank you for fulfilling me with the unlimited energy, divine love, and light. Yeah, so just, I would even see it as sending support and love to this child versus trying to fix. So like almost it's like coming from a place of being a compassionate shoulder to lean on versus someone trying to fix the problem that they just need someone to hear them out on. Not give solutions, but just hear them make their own decisions. Yeah, I almost wonder if that's all I have for this pile. Trying to see if there's any other messages lingering here. All right, just sort of ending thoughts here with the camel. If you think about it, they are kind of designed to go on a big adventure, right? Like they can hold all the hydration they need within their hump. And I even wonder if this is kind of telling you that they are on like their own soul pilgrimage. They're on like their own soul journey, and they're here to learn, and you're just here to support love, guide, and remind them, reground them, to reground and recenter them. Yeah. Okay. I think that's all I have to say as just a finishing thought there, but I just hope you're the best. I hope this cleared up some questions you might have had or gave you some confirmations on the right actions or the guidance that you were looking for. I should just add, like, always just trust in your intuition, because it won't lead you astray. Hello, pile 5. So you chose the Selenite crystal or the unicorn deck. So I'm just going to pull some cards and then we'll get into your card reading. Okay, pile 5. So it is really interesting because one of the piles had bear and butterfly, and you have bear and frog. So there's some similar energies here. A lot referring to feeling isolated, almost feeling like you have to carry your burdens yourself, or you just have to handle them yourself. And it's really interesting because the frog comes up when it's really important to remember some self-care. And probably not coincidentally, you also chose the Selenite card, which is all about like a deep clearing, in my opinion. Like Selenite will just clear out anything that is not a love and light or the highest vibration. So it's so perfect with the frog energy. So it says, are you striving for a deeper connection with the divine? Quiet your mind. Listen to what your angels and guides want you to know. Hear the ancient wisdom within. Align your spinal column. Care for your bones, muscles, nerves, and your cells. So it's all about angel of divine guidance. This is really saying, though, that you're in a state where you've been going and going and going, even though you're on an empty tank. And it's really time for you to clear that energy. Like, even if you look at this frog, there's water coming down. So it just needs a cleansing. It needs self-care. It needs rejuvenation. It needs to lighten its load. So I feel like you could just spend a lot of time worrying for others and worrying for the best of others, and it just seems like a lot. And I just see that you're always kind of taking it on yourself with the bear card there. So this is what you are struggling to let go of and step into. So it says surrender stress. So it does make sense that you'd be very stressful. I'm a little surprised it didn't say worry, because there is a card that is for that. And then it says surrender to prayer and surrender to the magic of who you are. So this is what you need to step into. Prayer, it says give yourself over completely to prayer. When you pray from your heart, you will be heard throughout the universe and answers and support will arise. So I feel like this is like finding solutions for your current situation and trusting that, I almost would say that you would receive an intuitive nudge or intuitive knowing on what to do around the situation. And then the magic of who you are, it says we have magic in us. Even the mundane aspects of life, remember that you are a magical being with a uniqueness and worth that comes from just being you. And I like that there's a little horsey in the background. And I even like that her head's bowed down, so I actually think this is like, I feel like there's a meditation aspect and definitely a self-care aspect that's coming into this. And then you had guidance cards. You have forgive, believe in yourself, simplicity, so not taking on too much, just keeping your basic needs fulfilled, try something new. And I feel like this is talking about hanging out with different people who are different from you. And then thankful, so some gratitude coming in there. Just get these straightened out a little bit nicer. Okay, so I actually want to read from the guidebook what the frog means, because I think this pile is really going to resonate with it. So here it says frog, clearing, cleansing, and healing. The frog and the water element are almost inseparable. The frog spends its first months of life entirely within this healing element, and then emerges to rest on land. But no matter how earthly the frog becomes, it needs for cleansing and rejuvenation is regular. Frogs tend to become overworked and undernourished, so it's vital that such sensitive creatures practice self-care. This card serves as a reminder that water helps us cleanse, forgive, and release. Time to dive in. Frogs aren't meant to carry a heavy load. When it's in balance, clear energy, enthusiasm for life. But when it's out of balance, it's depleted and running on empty. So to bring frog energy back into balance, it's good to be by a lake, a river, ocean, or a bathhouse. So I really wanted to mention this because I thought it'd really be a nice way to really reiterate to not carry so much yourself and the importance of regular self-care and the need for self-care. So don't beat yourself up if you find that you often need to have some isolation and some time just to be with yourself and to replenish. And another thing I just want to point out is here it says the need to forgive and release. And here you have the card forgive. And it says it's time to let go of anger or blame. So it's a little bit interesting because I'm actually getting the impression that sometimes this pile can be very harsh on themselves for not setting boundaries. I almost would say this pile seems like someone who knows that they need to do this and knows in theory how to be more self-honoring and how to set boundaries, but then you find yourself sometimes getting caught up in still doing it, and then I almost feel like you can get very frustrated and angry with yourself for finding yourself in the situation again. So I could be wrong there, but I think that's something that's happening for this pile, is almost beating yourself up for, oh, you did it again. Why did you do this? Why did you commit to so many things? You know, it's just saying to like forgive yourself. Understand that getting mad at yourself is not going to get you any further, and it's not going to get you feeling more rejuvenated and more, I just feel like energetic, like feeling more like good and it's centered in yourself. So there's that element of don't beat yourself up that it happened. And then this whole believe in yourself, I almost think is believing that you can set boundaries, believing that you are going to be able to find a healthy balance for yourself here and not take on everything. Believe that it is possible and try something new. I keep getting stuck on this card because I just keep seeing that it's diversifying your friendships, finding someone different. So I almost wonder if it's saying it could be time to separate from the old type of personality or archetype you kept drawing in and finding someone totally different. Like I see you as the unicorn and then finding two different people who are totally different backgrounds, maybe even different ethnicities from you. It just seems so different in all ways. And then here it says you'll only know that you can do something if you try. So I almost feel like don't be afraid to make new friends and trust that you'll be able to find them, but you won't know until you try. And yeah, definitely a lot around manifestation. So I wonder if you've even been trying to manifest in new friendships, because when I see yourself doing well and you will is like really talking to that abundance and that manifestation, calling in higher relationships, calling in more harmonious relationships. And then, like I said before, the simplicity, I really see this as focusing on your basic needs. What self-care do you need? Like sleep, good food, some exercise or movement in your day. Focusing on getting the basics met. Don't need to overcomplicate it. Just getting the basics met will get you recharged and feeling better. So put your energy into the basics and let go of excess. And I keep seeing these little dogs and cats everywhere. So I wonder if you do have pets and they help you feel centered and grounded and at peace, and maybe just really enjoy spending time with them. And maybe when you get busy, that's one of the things you start to miss the most, is not being able to spend time with your pets. So I wonder if that's even a little message there for some of you. And I know I did choose the unicorn deck, but it's interesting how this card is not in a unicorn deck, and there's a little unicorn in the background. I thought maybe there was one here, but it's just a reflection. So I can't help but wonder what it is with specifically white unicorns too, because that's another thing. The unicorn deck has all sorts of different colored unicorns, and you got all white. So I might just even take a second here to just quickly Google the spiritual meaning of a white unicorn, because I feel like that in itself has a bit of a message for you. Okay, so it says unicorn symbolizes and or means purity and grace. The majestic creature represents all that is good in the world and reminds us that we should strive to be our best selves. Those with the unicorn as their spirit animal are gentle souls who deeply understand the world around them. So I almost wonder if it's even a little bit like a spirit animal or spirit guide for you. It could be a totem animal, but I don't know. It feels so closely linked to who you are and the way you are in the world. So I could almost see it being a power animal. So basically just an animal that is similar to you in vibration and energy and is always with you to protect you and guard you. Something just to think about if that resonates or not. Another thing I keep getting drawn to is this killer whale and black and white dogs. I just feel like there's a theme with black and white, like the yin and the yang. So I feel like for this pile, there's some kind of energy around you needing to balance or harmonize the yin and the yang within you. So I wonder why they're saying this. Okay, I think it's to not worry so much about doing, like the male, the masculine, the yin. Or sorry, the yang, the yang is masculine, was always trying to do. It's a very action taker. And I wonder if sometimes you need to go more into the yin energy of just being, just taking care of yourself, breaking your body what it needs. And it's less about action and more about just being self-honoring and doing like sleep, doing a meditation, sitting in a park, sitting near water, because there is water in these cards too, lots of water. So I do think this pile really resonates with water. I even see water in this. So I think water literally clears you if you wanted the fastest way to really like wipe out any of that other energy you might have picked up, because I do think this pile is probably very prone to very empathetically listening to other people and with a lot of compassion. And then instead of just being like, I'm here to listen and hold space and then but not take any of their problems, I think this pile can fall into the a cycle of sometimes taking those problems and then trying to resolve those problems for people or take on their burdens. And that's what makes it exhausting. And I see that's where the stress comes in. That's when this frog gets overloaded and overburdened. So, and I think that's when you start blaming yourself for doing it again. You can see the vicious cycle here. So, yeah, let's see it. So, advice in that specific situation. 1, forgive yourself. Breathe, restart, rejuvenate. Focus on the basics. So it's talking about making sure you're getting the right sleep, and food is really important for this pile. I keep seeing that basics is good quality food. I think you could start eating things that don't make you feel great, they make you feel heavy, and somehow that also plays in this lower energy you can find yourself in. I almost see it being in like a glum energy, and you're usually quite shiny and happy, so it really doesn't feel aligned with who you are. And I think it's literally, when I look at this bear, I feel like someone who feels really heavy when they're not eating right. They feel really, really heavy, and then the frog is so light and limber and can leap really high when he's feeling good. And I think that's another great analogy about how you can sometimes feel like this, alone, gloomy, low. The sun is like, you can't see it anymore. You feel like you're just carrying all this burden and weight, and it really is just a type of isolation. It feels like emotional isolation, actually, because I think physically you're surrounded by lots of people, but emotionally you feel like you're carrying all your burdens and everyone else's burdens alone. So that is hard. So we have try something new. You'll only know if you try it. I think that means finding new friends. And I don't know why. Maybe some of you have been drawn to learning a water sport like surfing. I don't know if that's possible where you live, but I don't know. I keep thinking this actually as being like literally maybe you should try surfing or some other thing that gets you in the water. Maybe it's water polo. Maybe even a more gentle moving. I feel like it's a way where you'll move with the water in harmony. Finding balance with moving with the water, and you'll find balance within yourself somehow. I don't know water sports very well, though. I live in a mountain town, so water is not that it's not existent here. There's lots of beautiful lakes, but not a lot of waves. I feel like this is very ocean energy, or yeah, ocean near a beach or a coastal line. So you'll have to just intuitively take whatever I'm saying within yourself and use your own wisdom and intuition on what that could be referring to. What water sport are they talking about? It doesn't feel like it would be very aggressive. It feels more yin energy. Like if I could say yin yoga, I would say yin version of this water sport. Feels really good. Yeah, and then it's funny because surrender to the magic of who you are. I used to think this is about going easy on yourself and see that there is so many gifts in you being as sensitive and compassionate as you are, but learning the boundaries is going to be so key, because it's just saying like, man, you're very pure in essence. You have a very angelic like soul. I think if you chose this pile, you might literally be a reincarnated angel or someone of a similar energy, because it's almost like, yeah, I don't know. It's just, I don't know how to explain it. It's the energy I see here. Or it could be even like, no, I don't think so. It's like unicorn, literally could be a reincarnated unicorn. It is possible, but I think they're more likely that most of you would be a reincarnated angel here, struggling with the kind of energy here. And that's even makes sense with the lesson you're in. Like this reoccurring circle you find yourself in is a very angelic lesson. Give yourself over completely to prayer. When you pray from your heart, you will be heard throughout the universe, and answer and support will arrive. So this is all talking about, where was the other one? There was another card here somewhere that said basically like manifestation. Oh, here you go. See yourself doing well and you will. This is really calling on the universe to help you and bring in supportive people, and know and trust that it will, because you will attract in whatever you put out. So if you're like, no, I'm going to find people who are aligned with me. And I really just see this woman specifically in the water. Like if you can go in the ocean and you can just close your eyes, breathe a few times, and then go into that heart-centered space. So if you need to put your hand there to feel your energy in your heart center open up, and just say, this is what I'm calling in. This is what I want for myself. That is such a clear intention. It can't really be misunderstood. I want aligned people. I want support. I want abundance. And I want to be able to set boundaries for myself. Something along those lines. So once again, we have to ask, why is this coming up for a body image? Now, what comes to my mind immediately is about this heaviness. I think sometimes you can really get upset with yourself because you feel drained physically, you feel heavy physically, you feel burnt out, and it just all feels very physical that you feel this. And I think it can make you feel a little bit frustrated with your body, but I see a lot of this is directly connected to your emotional energy that you're giving out to other people, kind of accidentally, right? I don't want you to blame yourself. I keep coming back to that because that actually just makes this harder. It's a lesson you're going to learn, and I do believe you're going to learn it. And I know you've been like, I've been trying to learn it for a while, because I see there's cycles of this that you go through. But don't give up on it. Don't give up on yourself. You've got this. You can set boundaries with people. You can learn to not take on other people's burdens. You will get there. It's in your future. It's all about finding the balance between self-honoring and still being that beautiful, helpful person you want to be. Yeah, you're gonna get there. Don't worry. And when you do, and as you start to, you're going to start feeling a lot better. Because I even think, like they're saying, if you notice yourself eating bad, that could be one of your first signs that you are starting to get drained, you're starting to get low on your own personal energy. Because I think that's when you start eating, I think it's like rice and like carbs and like heavy foods like potatoes. And this is pretty specific, so don't feel bad if this doesn't really resonate perfectly with you, but I just feel like heavy carby foods that just kind of sit in your gut and ferment, and they kind of get stuck there, and it doesn't feel good. So I almost feel like when you're in alignment, you're eating more fresh foods. I see vegetables for these people. I see living foods like living lettuce, microgreens, bean sprouts. Like those foods go really well with this person because you're so energetically light. Your soul is so energetically light that it would really resonate with foods that have a lot of light vibration to them. So like microgreens still have like the seeds attached, and they are like still kind of growing and living. That really resonates with you. Also, I think asparagus could too. Something about the way they grow feels really like connected. Not as much as microgreens and living lettuce, but I do think asparagus could be good as well. So just trust yourself intuitively. If you're not eating those things and you normally would like to, then that's like I would say that would be your red flag. And once you catch yourself, like, why have I been eating this a lot? It's not just because I'm like wanting this and it was like once a week. You start having like a bunch of days. I'm even gonna be a little bold here, somebody, so this could be a specific message, somebody here does not do good with grains of any type. It's not just wheat, it's grains like rice. Like they keep saying rice and potatoes, the starches, does not work well with your energy, your energetics, your physical energetics, your emotional energetics, your soul energetics. It doesn't mean you can never eat it, but if you are feeling stressed or overburdened, if you are to eat those kind of heavy foods that your system already has a hard time with because they're so heavy, it's just going to kind of accentuate the emotion you're in or the heaviness state you're in. So I would even say, like, in future, you might want to consider only having rice like once every 2 weeks or once a month even, because I think at that point your energy would be good enough for it not to make you feel so low, but it just doesn't feel like it vibes with you. And potatoes, white potatoes, they're really saying it strongly, so I'm going to reiterate it. And maybe chickpeas. I don't know if you eat chickpeas, but there's, yeah, like I said, super specific, could just be for a handful of people here. Always ask yourself and trust your own intuition before you take anything I'm saying here. But yeah, they are general card readings. They're not meant for a specific person. So just remember that. All right, I actually think this might be all I have for you. You know what? Actually, I'm not sure. I can't remember if I read the back of this, so I'll do that, and then I'll let you all go here. It says, quiet your mind, listen to what your angels and guides want you to know, hear the ancient wisdom within, align your spinal column, care for your bones, muscles, nerves, and your cells. So yeah, I see why this came up for a body image reading, because it's saying so much about kind of feeling like you're battling or at war against your body, but understand it's actually just needing you to care for it. It needs some parenting from you, some listening, versus trying to force it through when it's giving you every red flag that doesn't have the energy to do it. Angel of divine guidance, I am aligned with the divine. I am a spiritual being of divine love and divine light. My spine, bones, tendons, and muscles are healthy, strong, and aligned. I have access to the ancient wisdom stored within me. Yeah, that's big. You have access to the ancient wisdom stored within you, because I feel that. I feel that in your soul very strongly, but when you get low and overwhelmed, you almost like you shut it off, which makes sense. You just have a lot going on. That's just another thing, but I feel like there's a lot of wisdom really at your soul essence, and you really know how to take care of yourself. You just sometimes forget when you get overloaded. Okay, so I just wish you the best. I hope this brought some insights, some reminders, some confirmations, and some validations that I feel like you already knew, but you just needed to hear again. So I just wish you the best, and I hope you start feeling a little bit better. Hello, pile 6. You're the last pile. So you chose red Jasper. Right away, I'm thinking about grounding. I can't help it. I feel like red Jasper is just known for that. But we are going to pull some cards and see what's going on and what messages you need to hear right now. Okay, pile 6. So you got Owl and Peacock, and how I see this energy is Owl is in the energy that you are now, and Peacock is the energy you're heading to, which for a body image reading is kind of amazing to get a peacock because they're so beautiful. Yeah, they're just so beautiful and shiny, and they're so intricate and interesting to look at. You can get truly lost in their feathers because they're just so, what's the word? They just, to me, they look like magical little creatures. Absolutely magical. So, interesting enough, when I see the owl here, I see it as you're in a phase where you're observing, where you're in taking, you're just really, really viewing and being like the spectator and seeing what's going on around you. And it's interesting because when I see the peacock card here, it tells me that in the end, you're going to come out with a much more wise and I almost see like beautiful outlook on yourself. And when I see the peacock, it's like really being so secure in yourself and loving yourself to such a deep level that it truly radiates through you, and other people see it and observe it. So the owl card just makes me wonder if you're observing how other people treat themselves, you're observing people who are, I would almost even think like influential people, I want to say like Brene Brown. I don't know if you actually know them, but I'm thinking of Brene Brown, who really talks about vulnerability, and she's like a shame researcher or something like that. I think that's her official title, or it might be a vulnerability researcher is her title. And then I really like the Jasper came in, because it's almost like, to me, it seems like grounding yourself and really just seeing what's going on, what feels true to you. I don't know if it feels as wise right now, because when I see owl, it still seems like you're in a time of contemplation and seeing how you're going to react and respond and take that information in. So we have for advice cards: blessing in disguise, innocence, steady progress. I really like this card, actually. It's interesting because I almost feel like you're not going to follow the order of other people. Like the other, how would I put it? Like I feel like the more like greater population, like middle class people, lower income people, they all kind of have a little bit more of a less, I'm talking very stereotypically, of course, a less ideal look at themselves. They don't usually have great body image. They're not super confident in themselves. And these are totally stereotypes, but I feel like the owl person is actually going to observe how successful people are, how they treat themselves, what they define beauty as, what they see value in. And I feel like that's the role models you choose to have. It's very, very kind of advanced and very wise. But I just, when I see these cards, I see that they're like, I see it almost as wealthy, or like the leaders. I know it's like a little more older school. I think of kind of like how the queens are carrying themselves and how they view the world. So these people aren't even focusing necessarily on themselves, but they're focusing on things they see value in. And I think that's like how you're going to be. You're going to kind of observe and then learn from that, from these role models. So other guidance cards you have: romantic partner, new opportunity, body movement, dance, I would say, specifically dance. I came up in one other pile, so it's kind of interesting. Trust your intuition. And then lastly, you have positive expectations. A lot of purple here, so this is really telling me you're going to be opening up your crown a little bit more and connecting more to that, and really paying attention and almost downloading in inspirations and intuitive nudges, and just really starting to connect with what you should do that's in your highest good, and not from the mental point, but more from an intuitive body knowing, higher soul knowing wisdom. Hope that makes sense. Used little words there. Body movement. So I really find this a great card for connecting with the body and also releasing anything, releasing any programming, releasing anything that doesn't serve you. Moving your body in different ways can help shake out those stuck emotions, those stuck beliefs, those stuck programs that aren't serving you. And I also think that there's something here with just music as well, as I see all these little sound notes everywhere. Maybe it's literally like sound healing, sound therapy, helping clear out some of this stuff as well. So this card here, the red Jasper, says take action and complete what you have planned. Speak up for yourself, follow through, and take necessary steps to see your projects to fruition. Have confidence in your own ability to make things happen. Yeah, it's kind of interesting. This pile is a little more elusive to read, which is funny that you got an owl, because I feel like they're hard to read. They're like a little mysterious. You can't always tell what's going on the surface, and you have to take some time to go deeper to really see and understand what's happening. And I feel like this could even be how you are as a person. Yeah, it's really interesting. Says, blessing in disguise, what appears to be a problem was actually part of your answered prayer. You'll understand the reason behind your present situation as everything resolves. Trust in heaven's protective and infinite wisdom to answer your prayers in the best way. Yeah, it's really interesting. I am having a bit of a hard time reading this person's energy. I feel like it's, mysterious, a little guarded, a little protected. yeah, I feel like I can't quite fully tune in and see what's going on, but I think that's really just in their nature right now, is to kind of, yeah, like I said, be a little mysterious, kind of have a little bit of a wall there. Um, in this sort of observing, deciding phase. But it is interesting, so much black in here. Like there's so much black and white, black, some black, some white. Also a lot of stars, so this is really interesting. And some stars there. So yeah. I kind of get the impression though that this person, I mean, if you've heard a different origins, I would say this person feels very star seedy. And I even wonder if that's where this part of this channeled in, or I shouldn't say channeled in, like this born with wisdom has come from. A different realm where you had a lot of clarity around self-love, self-confidence. I just feel like you have a different perspective than most people do here. And I think for your age, you have a greater perspective than most people do as well. And I just can't stop looking at all the stars and the planets and stuff. So I feel like you must be pretty connected to sort of others from your realm. Maybe they're in your spiritual council, or just still very connected. They just keep saying that. So you might dream and have little powwows with them. So you might dream and have little councils with them. Yeah, I can't quite. Yeah, I'm sorry. I feel like I'm having a hard time reading this person's energy. Much harder than any of the other piles. And this romantic partner thing is really interesting as well. Every time I see this card, I always think it means there's two choices. Which way to go. You can go for one or you can go for the other. I almost wonder for this pile, it's almost like you could keep going with someone, almost like maybe someone you have on and off flings with, or you can take a chance, you can find a new opportunity, and you can find something different than what you've already experienced. Something there with this. It's totally up to you, they're saying. Like, you can keep going with the one. And I'm not saying like you should break up with someone, but I have a hunch that you're on an off time with someone. They're saying there is other people out there. If you want a new experience, if you want something different, you don't want to keep going in the circle of breaking up and then getting back together, then you don't have to. You can find something else, find someone else. I even think that's where the blessing in disguise thing comes from. Maybe there's a break right now and it's going to give you time to heal, change, grow, change your expectations, well, yeah, just say positive expectations. I think this means change your expectations on what is possible for you and what is out there. And the body movement, I think that's where it's really coming in, is about healing this and releasing some of the stuff from this relationship. Yeah, you know what? I really want to read the peacock for you guys because I think what it symbolizes is going to be very aligned with where you're wanting to go. So it says, inner beauty, compassion, assimilator of anything. The beauty of the peacock is unrivaled. It's easy to think it comes from the plumage, but the secret of the peacock is that the beauty resides within and extends outward indefinitely. This adept creature can assimilate or digest all experiences in life, so it does not harbor resentment, conflict, or past pain within its psyche. The peacock type is extremely rare. Not many of us have reached this advanced level of acceptance of self and others. When it's in balance, it's confident and kind. When it's out of balance, it can't digest situations. To bring into balance, meditate on the navel. So on the center of the body, kind of where the sacral is. Kind of interesting. I feel like that's the direction you're heading in, though. Like, whatever is going through, and I think through this observation of what successful people do, what truly successful, truly beautiful, and confident people do, that's such a big one for this file. You're going to kind of be inspired and take action steps to kind of follow in their guidance in the role model they created for you. And I think it's going to be about calling in a higher romantic partnership. I don't want to say anything for sure because like I said, I'm having a hard time really being able to read this energy. I feel like it's a little bit guarded, a little bit protected, or maybe it's just very ungrounded that I'm having a hard time like focusing in on it because it's almost running away somewhere else. I'm not sure. But it really does just call to expect better, try new things, and clear out some of that old energy, but keeps connected to that intuition. There's a lot of good guidance coming in through your crown. You're very connected to your star origins or your star family and guides. I think they have a lot to share with you, a lot of guidance to give. And I just keep getting drawn to this card that says a problem is actually a part of your answered prayers. So saying things aren't always what it looks like. So maybe that's even the call to observe things and see what's going on. Okay, and just very lastly, let's read the back of this red Jasper card. It says, Angel of Action. I am grounded and focused on the task at hand. I creatively complete projects so that I can enjoy and share the end result. I am motivated to accomplish all that needs to be done. You've got this. You've got it. Hopefully this was helpful in some way. Sorry, I don't know what's going on. I was just having a little bit of a hard time reading it, which I usually don't, but yeah, who knows? Maybe it's just meant to be left there. Anyways, you have a wonderful day. I hope it brought some sort of clarity or confirmations to you, and maybe I'll catch you around.